Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am coming to you live from the HR Tech Conference in Las Vegas, and I look worse than I feel. Um, so that's just a product of age. Good morning, good afternoon again. I am here solo. Jackie is enjoying the comforts of Waco, Texas. And so hopefully uh, she will be back with us next week. I obviously am on the road here in Las Vegas. There's a bunch of noise. It's really hard to find a quiet corner. If you're like, gosh, he doesn't sound as clear as he normally does, that's not you. It's the truth. So there's multiple demos going on at the same time. You can hear this like din of speakered presentation going on. I mean, really, right where I'm sitting right now, I can see 4 different demos. Everybody's on a microphone, peddling their wares. But it's a good time. So if you've never been to the HR Technology Conference before, and I would dare say that many of you have not. And I say that because one of the things that has been very clear in terms of some of the observations here this year, very much so, it's apparent how much marketing is done to the enterprise level organization. This is a wonderland for those who have employee populations of 1,000 plus for sure, maybe even 5,000 plus, especially. And that's not the majority of organizations that employ Americans in the US. So that's something I think someone should figure out because everyone can't go after that same small population of people, and they're tripping over each other. And it's funny, I was at a couple of sessions, obviously over the past couple of days, really astute talent acquisition and talent management professionals that are here talking about technology and talking about its adoption within their organizations. And many of them pointed out the fact that they're feeling like they're walking up and down the rows of technology that's available. And it sort of feels repetitive. What's the differentiating factor, right? Everybody is sort of saying, for instance, our applicant tracking system uses agentic AI, and that's terrific, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But all of the applicant tracking systems are holding a banner up saying, we have agentic AI. That's really like vanilla at this point, right? Like that's table stakes. Why would I pick your ATS over anybody else's if you're all just holding up the same sign, right? That says we have agentic AI, and it's again that can be commentary, but I've heard it a couple of times from the sessions that are being hosted. Fascinating to hear practitioners who have been asked to come here and be on stage and share their perspectives to say things like, yeah, it's kind of all the same. Um, and so we've got to figure out how to sort of cut through the noise. I think there's great opportunity there. I had the privilege of being on a panel yesterday with a few folks and talking about what should those in the startup world have as some of their perspectives. What's the way in which startups can cut through the noise? I have had the chance here, and gosh, the one thing I will say is if you ever do get to come to this, I cannot recommend enough going to the startup area. There are smaller booths, and honestly, most of them have little laptops, and that's their screen, right? They just flip up the laptop, and it's low tech, and I love that. And they're hungry, and they want to like help solve a problem. And I will say, some of those on the startup end of things, what we were talking to them about yesterday was you're trying to mimic what you're seeing in the large group. So just like I said, the agentic AI sign comes up. They're trying to do the same thing. It's like, no. We get that you have agentic AI. Fine, terrific, lovely. Like, what difference does that make? What work process is it really affecting? What are the metrics around success in it? Like what's the time that's being saved or the budget that's being recovered? Those kinds of things in a very practical way. And the other thing is, it's okay to be narrow in your marketing messaging. If you're really good at, or you really want your product to target around manufacturing, if you want it to target around medical, technology, hospitality, whatever it is, just own it. The more that you may try to be all things to all people, which ultimately can be fine, maybe at the beginning it's not so fine. You don't have the resources. Maybe take a slice of the like organizational pie and focus on one type of organization or a smaller type, right, of organization. Maybe you say, I am in the 50 to 5,000 employee space or 50 to 500 employee space. Just own it. And in the startup area, like so many smart people, so much creativity, so much desire to make an impact. We just like I just love that. I think it's refreshing, to be quite honest with you. But for some of those areas as well of technology that's being covered there, um, this reinvention of the wheel is tough because what we wind up finding is that without intending to do so, some individuals will come along with their tech product and say things like, this is how it's been done for years, and so it's time to do it differently. And they've never actually done the previous thing that they're speaking against, right? So they're talking about the way in which benefits administration used to be and what they're introducing today. And one of the things that comes up very quickly as they're talking to some of the practitioners that are here walking around that are representing organizations across the globe, they're like, well, when you are a benefits practitioner within an organization, what? Give me some of that. What do you see that's different in what you're providing versus what was? Like, give me a workflow context. And to have the founder say, well, I've never done HR, I've never done benefits, I've never done talent acquisition, I've never done learning, I've never, like, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, well, what what is the context then as to why you would go down this route? I just saw it as an area that needed to be addressed. Now, that may be true, but I think smartly, like that founder should have someone with them who has traveled this road because founder empathy is important. Like, tell me that you really understand our pain. Tell me that you have a context to it that is relevant, as opposed to just coming across like, I want to build this, and in 18 months, it'll be acquired by a larger company because SAP or Workday is buying everything, and so I'm hoping to be next, next on the list for purchase or acquisition. I don't know if that's a great sales technique. Um, I do, and I miss Jackie for this, and let me give a shout out again for Jackie. I do miss the swag report. I don't want to do it without her. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't want to do a solo swag report. That's something we enjoy doing together, and so I didn't gather all the things I could have, but I didn't because that's what my buddy and I do. So we will do it at the next conference we're at together, um, which may be Wreckfest. So keep an eye out for that. Um, but I will say, just generally speaking, um, uh, there are a couple of companies that have done the one strap cross cross backpack, um, and they're really nice. Like, especially for those of you that are runners or if you bike, if you hike, that sort of cross backpack, triangular, not the old nylon with the strings, but like a nice thicker strap, right? Really much more secure. Couple of the organizations that are here, that's their giveaway. Really sweet. Um, there are Tide pens galore. And one of my friends, Dave Ralph, if you know Dave from Happy Dance, he collects all of the Tide pens. I could have had him do an entire segment on Tide pens. Not kidding. So that seems to be a pretty popular giveaway as well. I will mention the stuffed animal thing has made a bit of a resurgence. Smaller, compact stuffed animals. I must have passed 30 different booths. And by the way, there are hundreds of booths, and the numbers start at 1,400 in terms of the row, and it goes to like 7,000 something. Yes, Jamie, thanks for sharing that. Like, it's an intense area with lots of obviously booths of different sizes. So you have and I'm just looking out over it because it's behind the camera where I'm sitting. ServiceNow and UKG and Oracle, Paylocity, Criterion. I'm in just HiBop, Bamboo HR, iSIMS, like monster booths. Just like huge footprints, six digits in terms of what they're spending for those things. And then you've got, your 10 by 10 booths that are like, little backdrop behind them, 6 foot table in front, and they're just, trying to make it work. It is just it's a potpourri of different kind of booth setup, but there's commonality in some of the giveaways that I'm talking about. There was a booth yesterday that was doing little pill bottles. We are in Vegas. They were doing pill bottles filled with either M&M's, Skittles, or Reese's Pieces. Maybe was the other one. And it was their booth, Vision Link. Look at me. Gosh, I'm remembering. Vision Link, their compensation related software. And they're like, pick your pill bottle for the kind of problem you're having, right? I thought that was, kind of kitschy, but interesting, right? Like, take the pill bottle that aligns with the comp problem that you're having. Take 2 of these and call us in the morning. Come on now. Come on. Little 10 by 10 booth. Come on. They're getting at it. So appreciate that. I will say the other thing that is always a win, and I've seen same thing with the stuffed animals, probably 30 booths that I've passed by, the journals, the notebooks. Like, come on, so good. I know, like, everybody's like, I take my notes on my phone. Great. I love a good journal. I love a good notebook. Like, keep doing that. They're easy to ship as well. Like, order them from your favorite vendor and just have them shipped right here to Vegas or conference, and they're here waiting for you. You don't have to bring them all on the plane and all that stuff. Just good. You don't have to worry about, they're all flat, right? So you don't have to worry about them getting all janky. So anyway, these are some of the things I've seen. I could absolutely do a much more robust swag report. Again, that's a Jackie and John thing. So that, stay tuned for that to happen next time. There is an entire podcast, and I don't know if I can show it to you. Yeah, I can. There's an entire podcast studio. Look at that, the HR Executive Studio. So we are part of the Work to Find network at Buff First Coffee, and in there, I'm going to turn this way. Yes, my buddy Ryan Leary is in there getting things set up for the next podcast that he and my other buddy William Tincup. They've been doing them all day yesterday, doing a bunch more today. This does not end early. That's the one thing about this conference. It is not like the last day of the conference is not okay. Everything's done by 11. This bad boy runs through 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. It is a solid day, and that's pretty much when it ended. The other days with parties and that kind of stuff in the evening, happy hours and all that. But today is no exception, and there are still parties happening tonight, right? Even though the conference ends late afternoon today, Greenhouse is shutting the conference down with a monster party tonight. And so the one thing about that is like, how very nice for you. I will tell you that those happy hours, the dinners, the experience things that go on. Smart Recruiters did a monster activation at Area 15 here in Las Vegas the other night. Like, those things at those events, the amount of conversation that goes on behind the scenes, that's where um, you know that's where I would say business gets done. And so uh, it is not just like frou blah blah kind of thing. It is completely about building and deepening relationships. It is sitting in the corner of one of these areas and having a drink and talking about a business problem, talking about what your experience has been with the job market. There absolutely are people here who are in transition and who are hoping to get connected to their next opportunity here. Certainly, that's part of it as well. I'm not saying that's the majority, but there are some folks here with that. And then there are tech vendors who this is their way in which not just standing at the booth with 7,000 people walking by them throughout the day, they really wind up having a much more meaningful conversation that's much more relaxed. So there's a lot of intention as to why some of these vendors are doing that. I will say, and by the way, this is a mini But First coffee this afternoon. Right? It's a shortened version for two reasons. One, I have 15 other things that I'm apparently scheduled to go and do. And you can hear the voice. I've probably got about two legs left out of four for the day. So I want to make sure that I keep a bit of it for stuff that has to go on through the evening tonight. So I'm going to turn the other way so that you can see some of the expo hall. So, like, see these pop-ups? Like, there's pop-ups everywhere. People just grabbing high-top tables and doing the thing. Um, you can get a sense here. Ooh, let me see if I can get up. You get a sense here as I walk through and leave my stuff with my wallet and everything else. So, look, y'all.
Hey, what's going on?
He's doing
First
some.
coffee.
Share who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Hi, my name is Michelle Meehan. I am the CMO at Betty, and we wish Jackie was here.
We
because
do wish
love
Jackie was
you.
here. We love you,
Hope you
Jackie.
miss Jackie.
So, why HR Tech?
It's the key in the conversation. Yeah.
Right?
You're
Simple.
missing. Yeah. Right.
See, right? I didn't lie. I said this earlier. Well, there's a lot of love here, right? Make sure it's your Jack gifts.
Yeah.
And look, you guys are awesome. Okay, hold on. I got to do a hug.
Take care of you.
Go ahead. I will see you later. Text you later. Okay, I'll see you guys. See, like, that's the kind of stuff in like goodie bag for Baldino right away, right? So the idea of this conference is absolutely relational. I know that still seems silly because it's technology based, but it is absolutely relational, right? So the idea of coming to this conference, just be like, oh, it's the thing to go to, up, going to get HR credit, which you can. You can get your SHRM credit, your HRCI credit. That's all well and good. And not taken away from anybody's credits. But I don't know that I would say that's the primary focus of why you would come here. I think being exposed to a lot of the technology, being exposed to what is coming, there are a couple of offerings here that I think are starting to get to the next level of what we have to be thoughtful of. It's not just the AI boom, it's, well, what will the AI do in terms of diagnostics? So I'll give you a great example. A great example. Behavioral tracking. Can AI give me insight into can it give me insight into the way in which I'll use turnover as an example. What is turnover telling me? Well, it tells me this role has a lot more turnover than other roles within the organization. Terrific. It's giving me constant tracking on those things. Great. I've got a dashboard that's giving me the metric related to that. Terrific. But behaviorally, what can I learn from that? What can AI help me learn from that? Are there patterns? Are there, if I integrate my both my talent selection and onboarding processes into that, do I notice any themes? Are we doing the wrong kind of acclimation as part of our onboarding? And we need to update that because people are responding behaviorally to the way in which they're experiencing the organization through onboarding. That, I think, that's the niche that we've got to get smarter in. And if you're a tech developer out there, if you're looking for the next thing, behavioral components, I think, are the way in which we have AI in support so that humans can continue to make better decisions, walk better in wisdom, when that all that information has sort of been culled through the AI agent. So, I would say that's something to be thoughtful of and what's coming. Oh my gosh, Steph is here. Um, uh, I didn't know. Good morning, Steph. I didn't know people still went to conferences solely for credits. I'm going to tell you, I agree with you. There's a few, though. There's a few. I heard one was yesterday asking where the code was, like where the numbers were for HRCI. I'm like, come on. You'll get it after the conference. It's coming. Anyway, mini but first coffee this morning. Thank you all for letting me be, kind of interrupt your day today. Jackie, we love you. Can't wait to see you. Fingers crossed for next week. Otherwise, thanks everybody. We will see you next week.